Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I am your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Hope everybody had a great trading day yesterday as we are heading into a gorgeous Tuesday in the fall. Fall baseball's in full swing, and the market's in fall effect. Get it? Fall. All right, double entendre. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click that subscribe button down below so that you get the updates as they happen. And for those of you that are not new to the channel, do me a favor. It would be much appreciated if you give me a comment or give me a like. The algorithms on YouTube, they work a lot better when people hit the little like button and they leave a comment down below. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So in the S&P, we had a little bit of a level down here where price hit, it bounced up, and then immediately fell off. This is actually a great breakout setup, is the setup that we want. And so we got a little move out of it. You may or may not have gotten a tiny move. It did go to its opposing fair price value area. So the level itself was effective, but it was a very weak bounce off of the level as we sold off throughout most of the day. I think that for those of you that missed that opportunity, no big deal. I think that you're going to get another bite at the apple, if you will, on a bigger time period, but I'm all the way down here on a 15-minute chart. When we look at the hourly chart, we had talked yesterday about the potential for, kind of rolling over. And I don't really love any of the reversal areas down here. None of the reversal areas down here are things that jump out at me. And I would normally pick this, except I don't like the time of the day that it was formed. So I think we could be in for a fairly, extended pullback here over the course of the next couple of days. It just makes sense that we might get one. So I'm going to go to the hourly chart in this area right here as a potential to look at for a reversal if you get a little bit of a rally back up. I don't know that we'll make it back up to here today. But I'm gonna look at this area right here as probably the highest probability rally point for if we get a reversal back to there. Now, we're still not very far off of our all-time high, but we have enough lower swing highs and lower swing lows in order to take that position. It's not, however, our weakest market, right? If I want a weaker market, I would go to the NASDAQ or even more so the Russell. And for those of you that were in the live trading room on Sunday night, we talked about the weakness in the Russell. And I don't know if you were able to jump on any of that, but because we had a very strong weakness day in the Russell. So yesterday, our NASDAQ area, and we had talked about, the NASDAQ was a decent little breakout trade for a few points. We talked about taking your stop, locking in some of those profits, and we basically were at pretty much the high of the day yesterday while we were doing the recording of yesterday's video, because it pretty much sold off from that point on for the rest of the day. Now, we're still pretty close to that all-time high, but we are definitely weakening and falling a bit faster here. In the NASDAQ as we're down almost 0.5% overnight, whereas in the ES we're only down 0.25%. So the NASDAQ is down more in the overnight session. So what I might look to do is, and I don't normally like to sell this close to the all-time high, but right in here, I think very similar to the S&P level could be a reversal in the NASDAQ. Once again, I don't know if we're going to get there today, but keep that area in mind. Crude oil. So crude oil, our breakout trade worked exceptionally well. So I'm hoping that you guys took the crude oil breakout trade. Do me a favor in the comment section down below. Just if you took the crude oil breakout trade and it worked out well for you, type in something. Let me know that you did. If you didn't take it, type in why. I think it's always good to take a look at that, because I think what happens with some people is that they get so afraid of breakouts. Now, the biggest fear on this one is that before the breakout, I said your stop would be below this pivot. You actually got below there, and so that would make that your stop below this pivot to get in the trade. So it could have been too wide of a position. So, does that mean that I necessarily have to trade crude oil? No, I could trade USO, or I could trade options on USO. There's other things that I could have done. But now that we have have uh, have started to gain some traction, I think it's a decent idea to take your stop and move it up to right about this area here. I think this is the point to lock in some profits. You've locked in about $1.20 or so on the breakout, which if you're just trading one contract, you're picking up about $1,200 on that crude oil trade. So hopefully you're able to catch that little move. If you're willing to you've got to have a risk tolerance though that would allow you to do it. So that one has been really our best trade of the day. Gold. So gold, you may or may not have gotten stopped out. We rallied up into this. We poked just above the level, and I'll take a small stop out in a position like this. And if you didn't get stopped out, we did come back down and hit to our opposing fair price value area. So it wound up hitting target and only popped above by a few ticks. And this is why I don't have a running tally of results, because everyone's going to have a different place in where they put their stop. For me, I typically put my stop above the last pivot. Above, if I've got a pivot, I really look for pivots. And we didn't come anywhere near that pivot, but we did come above the little basing area. Remember, this is on a 15-minute chart. On the hourly chart, we've got that little area up here still, but we came right to our last area here, touched it, dropped through, and we stayed below the pivot here, and so came down, a little bit of a profit target, but now it's come right back up. This is still kind of a bearish setup overall. We didn't put in a truly higher high. And so I'm going to leave this alone. I'm not going to add anything to this. I think that it's fine as is. All right, looking at bonds and currency markets. So in the ZN position, so we had a touch and go off of the bond level, and that bond level touch and go is a decent little setup, but we've now hit it a couple of times, so it gets a little bit weaker. So this little bond setup was a nice little touch and go run away from it. We've now come back to it again. I'm going to switch it to a dashed line entry, meaning that if you decide you want to get short on this, that you wait for price to come in and you get short as it comes back out of the level. The Aussie, our setup in the Aussie, we did not quite make it all the way up there before a strong overnight sell-off on the strength of the dollar. So nothing really to add in the Aussie. In the euro, nothing to add in the euro, as we had a potential reversal here, but we weren't able to make it quite all the way up into this level in order to get entry. Remember, it's a confirmation style entry. So the level, I think, is still a fine level, and it still stands, and I'm going to leave it be. Tempted to add this area up here as a potential right in through here for a short reversal. Just keep an eye on this one. If we do make it back up to here, I think this one could work out well. This actually worked out for a great breakout trade. Of course, I wasn't awake to see the breakout trade, but as far as the breakout setup, it's a good setup on a breakout. And then the Canadian dollar. So in our Canadian dollar, we had our gap up, and it's been kind of a gap and go ever since, and price has not come back down to retest our gap area. So, as far as currencies go, not a whole lot to add. Most of our movement came from the four core markets that we look at up front. Looking at nat gas. So in nat gas, we had a potential reversal right here. Price did come into this level, and it just blew right through. So the nat gas level, unfortunately, we got pretty much nothing out of that position. That nat gas trade, price hit it and blew right through it. And that was just, I'd love to give you a better reason than it just did. And when we're trading in these windows of strong upward move, it's a little bit harder to catch some of those shorts when you've got the bigger pictures is heading up. So that's the issue on why the nat gas got kind of busted through. Copper is another one to take a look at. We've got a setup in copper for a potential reversal right here. I'm not a huge fan of the way we're arriving into there, right? When I look at this on a bigger picture and I see this, it scares me a bit more. And that shows me that my momentum is waning heading down into here. It makes the reversal a little bit less likely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to a dashed line because I think that copper position, while as far as the structure of the level is a pretty good structure, and it's a tiny little area in here, the way that we're basing in front of it scares me a bit and could actually set up for a breakout the other way. My problem with the breakout the other way is I don't have as much room to roam as I would like, but it's definitely going to give me time to pause on that setup. Japanese yen, we had a little bit of basing before a nice move down. We have come back into retest this. So if you're in this Japanese yen position, it is starting to move your way and it may continue to go your direction. Now it's time to manage your stop. So manage your stop according to your risk tolerance. Want to give everybody a quick heads up. You're going to see for those of you that are regulars to the channel, we're going to do I've had a lot of questions about our trading rooms. We're going to do a preview week, if you will. So keep an eye out. Go to tradersarmy.com. Even if you sign up for the free newsletter, you will get the emails as we send them out, and we'll talk to you about our trading week. Call it a free preview for our live trading rooms. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. So hope everybody has a great trading day. If there's something that you need, please let us know. I will talk to you soon. See ya.